Hi guys. So today I wanted to discuss about a little something that has been on my mind for a long time. In fact, I posted about it from my personal account today morning about the different models of fat loss and my journey to understand about fat loss and my experience from clients. So I thought I would share this, right? So as I mentioned in the post, I don't think many of you read it. Some of you might have. I went through practically every single model there is to understand what is the science of fat loss. There are like so many ways in which they say how you can lose fat and what is the science behind it. The obvious one is the eat less, move more, calories in, calories out. So is there merit to this model? Yes, like if you see this, yes, there is merit. Like it's a simple statement, but exactly that is the problem. It's too simplistic. Calories in is something you can control. Calories out is marginally under your control, and this is where we start our disagreement with this model, or this is where this model fails. And this model allows you to consume. There's no focus on what you can consume and what you cannot consume. There's no focus on the quality of food. It's just about the quantity, and this is where I have disagreements with this model, and it's too simplistic for my liking. The next stop or the next most important model is the carb insulin model, which says you reduce your carbohydrate intake, your insulin levels go down, and you cannot store fat and you will lose fat. That is the basic idea. This is a fairly good model. I subscribe to this idea. In fact, I subscribed to this idea for a long time, and it makes sense. It makes theoretical sense. But where is the disagreement? Where is the problem with it? So down the line of all the clients I've been dealing with, there's a point I felt that, or I noticed that. In fact, in spite of keeping your carbohydrate intake very low, let's say close to zero, some people don't seem to lose weight. What is the reason? What could be the reason? Is there anything else that got me thinking? I saw this with other folks as well. Then some people, I just reduced the fats, increased the carbs, and I felt, wow, the same people had the results. In fact, we have worked with several clients over their designated or their subscription period, just because we wanted to get to the root of this as an experiment. And we saw this. So that really caught me thinking, and this thinking has been with me for a long time. Even before my practice, I've been thinking about this. I've read about multiple things, so I've been thinking, like, what is the root cause? Is it like carbs or calories? What does that matter? What matters the most? So in my mind, I hypothesized this. Like, I got this hypothesis that maybe both are equal partners, or both are equally relevant. Like, you have a high insulin levels and you're eating a surplus, then you are going to store a lot of fats. If you have a low insulin levels, you're going to have a surplus, you're going to store a little bit of fats. If you have a low insulin and low calorie intake or a deficit, you are going to lose fat. So that is something that's been on my mind, and that's something I more or less I feel that is accurate. So that is something that caught my attention. That is something that was with me for a long time. But somehow I persisted with the carb insulin model, and I found out, yeah, there is something going on. There is merit. At least you're reducing your blood sugar levels and all that. So it's the model. It's the thing, right? Then I happened to read this book called The PE Diet by Ted Naiman. Uh, it's basically, the idea is revolving around protein leverage hypothesis, which says protein is the most important nutrient, macronutrient, and essentially, if you can get your certain amount of protein with as much low calories as possible, that's the best way to eat. Again, probably the most sensible approach out there, and that makes a lot of sense, right? You necessarily don't eat less, you just eat better things. So there is a focus on quality. Then the problem, or what I found with that model, is there are, like, at least for some of our clients, for vegetarians, strict vegetarians, and have a hard time eating protein, we usually have a higher fiber food for them, and we see that they are losing weight as well. So what is going on? It's not all about protein, or do they have lower protein threshold? That's something I wanted to understand. Till the time this Dr. E and Ted again came up with a new model called SPC, which is satiety per calorie. That made a lot of sense. That clicked all the uh, shortcomings of the previous PE model and whatever is happening in the carb insulin model. So that was making a lot of sense. So this finally, at least for now, from whatever information we have, seems to end the debate. This is applicable over low carb, carnivore, keto, paleo, and vegan, any sort of diet. As long as you follow this principle, you are going to get into a much better health. That is a simple principle, and I find it very relatable. And it's actually, you can say, most closest to the real life situation. So that's why I endorse this idea, at least for now. There's more data coming out, and it's a very good thing. So coming back to the carb insulin model, like, is it over for low carb? Definitely not. Low carb is a very valid thing. You need to reduce your carbohydrate. Like, what is the number one problem in India? Among many other things, the number one problem is you are consuming an excess carb. Or another way to frame this is we are consuming very little protein, which in turn makes you eat more carbs or fats. So we need something which controls the protein or elevates the protein intake. We need more protein intake, and you need to get it in a sensible way through cutting down on carbs and fats. That's simple as that. You simply cannot have 300 grams carbs or 400 grams carbs on whatever diet you are. You call it any name. You call it low carb, you call it carnivore, you call it vegan, you call it paleo, you call it whatever the hell you want. You call it calorie counting. You simply cannot have 300 grams of carbs in a day. So bring it lower. 150. Okay, just sorted. Just get it below 150. If you want more, below 100, 130, whatever it is. That's all individual stuff. That is all have to be monitored and decide. But bring down your carb consumption, bring down your fat. Like, most people don't consume too much fats, or rather they consume the wrong type of fat. So for fats, it's not about the quantity as such, it's about switching from the bad kind to the good kind. So do these things and leverage the protein, and you're pretty much sorted. That's essentially what, it's like the unified theory of all diets. It's the common sense diet, it's the unified theory, and that is why I promote this, or I subscribe to this idea. So what a lot of mistake these low carbers are making is that they assume that no insulin, I mean, you're keeping your insulin low and you're no fat, you're not gaining fat. What they don't realize, or what they don't maybe realize but not put it forward, I believe that's the case, is that your body always has a basal level of insulin. So if I do my fasting insulin, it's mine is around 4, I'm just saying. So mine is around 4. What does that mean? I'm like, I have that amount of insulin always. Even when I'm on a 72-hour fast, I'm having that amount of insulin. That's my body's method to prevent my body from degrading. Unless you're a type 1 diabetic, you are having that level of insulin in that body, in your body. So no matter what, no matter I consume too much of fats, or let's say forget fats, too much of protein, I'm consuming 400 grams of protein in a day or 300 grams protein in a day, I will end up gaining fat, because that basal level of insulin will promote fat storage. It is not from here to zero as low carbers claim. So that is one of the failures. And definitely I've seen multiple times where you are consuming a lot of carbs, I mean lot of fats. You're saying I'm a very low carber, I'm a keto, but I consume a lot of butter, I consume a lot of ghee. You end up gaining fat, simple as that. Or you might not even lose fat. You might not gain, but you will not lose fat. So this is the fact, right? This is the fact that calories have a merit. Carb insulin model has a merit. It's just that we need to see what is the common denominator in all of this. Like, what are you trying, when you're trying to control calories, when you're trying to control carbs, what is the common denominator? more protein, more protein and more satiety. That's the common denominator. You get this sorted, get this more protein, more satiety factor sorted out, then these two factors become nullified, or these two factors are not focused. So instead of focusing on calories, or instead of focusing on carbs and fats and all that, focus on getting adequate amount of protein and work the other two macros around your requirements, and you are sorted. So this is something I wanted to clear up. Definitely, we'll be doing more podcasts and space and different things on this. So let's. I just wanted to get this idea across, and yeah, this might come across as I'm changing my stance. No, I'm not. I'm just refining my stance, and I believe we all have I believe we all should do that, right? Why do we have to stick by one stand from birth to death? No, our obligation is to make people heal. I want to heal you. I don't want to. I don't want. I'm not a what you can say. I'm not a low carb evangelist or a keto evangelist or a calorie evangelist. I don't want you to get you folks in. I don't want you folks in my religion. That's not what I'm trying to do. It's not a religion. It's a diet. It's a way to do that. So I simply want to say that yeah, this is a new approach. This is it's an extension of the old one. It is incorporates a lot more stuff. So this is something I just want to bring to your attention. If there is merit, take it. If there is not, don't. Simple as that. Let's. I hope you get what I'm saying, right? Let's not be dogmatic about anything. Let's see. Let's work together to find what works best for everyone. Merry Christmas.